Hello everyone. Welcome to English Growth Way. Today I have a very special story for you. It is about a young boy who could not speak English at all. But then he found a artificial intelligence tool that changed his life completely. That tool was Claude. This boy did not have a teacher. He did not go to an English school. He did not have money for expensive classes. But every single day, he opened Claude on his phone. He practiced one sentence at a time. He fixed one mistake at a time. He had one small conversation at a time. Claude became his private teacher. It became his daily friend. It was a safe place where he could talk without fear. It was always ready to listen, correct him, explain things, and give him hope. After a few weeks of this simple practice, something amazing happened. The boy started to think in English. He started to speak in English. He became fluent. And here is the truth. If he can do it, you can do it too. This is not just a story. It is a full guide. I will show you exactly how to use Claude to learn English from your home. You do not need to feel fear. You do not need pressure. You just need to follow these steps. So, please stay with me until the end. If you are serious about improving your English, subscribe to this channel right now. This video can change everything for you. My name is Tom. I am 24 years old. I live in a small town where almost nobody speaks English. For most of my life, I stayed away from English. I told myself, I do not need it. But deep down, I was scared of it. Let me tell you why I finally decided to learn. It was not because I wanted to travel. It was not because I wanted to look cool. It was because of my mother. One day, my mother got sick. She had a pain in her chest. We rushed her to the hospital. The doctor came into the room. He was a kind man, but he only spoke English. He said words like, "We need to run more tests. It could be a heart problem. Do you have a family history of this?" I stood there like a statue. I did not understand most of what he said. I nodded my head. I smiled politely. But inside, I was confused and scared. I felt empty. I looked at my mom. She looked tired and worried. She trusted me to ask questions. She trusted me to speak for her. But I could not. I could not even ask. What does that word mean? Is she going to be okay? I wanted to say, "Can you explain that in simple English, please?" But the words did not come out. I felt like a failure. Not because I did not love my mom, I love her more than anything. But I felt like a failure because I did not know how to use words to protect her. That night, I sat outside the hospital on a cold bench. I cried. I cried for her, and I cried for myself. Then, I made a strong decision. I said, "This stops here. I do not care how long it takes. I will learn English. I will never feel helpless again." That was the beginning. It was the start of a mission. That night, I did not sleep much. The next morning, I picked up my phone. I sat at my small desk. I felt tired, angry, and embarrassed. Then, I remembered a video I saw about Claude. People said, "You can practice English with it. It is like a private teacher. You can make mistakes, and it will not judge you." I also saw ChatGPT, but there were many warnings from experts not to use it. A lot of people even deleted it from their phones. In the US, it was being used for military purposes. This means it could collect my data, listen to what I say during the day, and even work like a spy. That is why I chose Claude. It feels much safer than ChatGPT. I thought, what do I have to lose? Let me try Claude one time. I opened the app. It was simple. There was no camera, no pressure, just a blank box to write in. I typed the first message of my life in English. I was scared even to write it. I wrote, "Hello, my English is not good. Can you help me speak English slowly and simply?" Then I waited. A few seconds later, a reply appeared on the screen. It said, "Hello. Yes, I would love to help you. Do not worry. We can go slow. I will explain everything in a simple way. You are already doing great just by starting." I sat there and stared at that reply. No one had ever said that to me before. Not in school. Not in college. Not in my life. I felt something strange. I felt hope. And that was the real beginning. Step 1. The morning routine. On that first day, I decided to do one thing. I would not try to do everything at once. I had failed before by trying to do too much. This time, I started small. I was quiet, but I was consistent. I made a promise to myself. Every morning, before I do anything else, I will spend 15 minutes with Claude. I will not open social media. I will not watch videos. I will open Claude. That is it. Here is exactly what I did, slowly and in detail. First, I wrote an English diary with help. I told Claude, "I want to write about my morning. Can you help me write a very short diary? I will write first, and you can correct me." So, I wrote, "Today I wake late. I feel sleepy. I drink tea and sit." Claude replied, "Good try. Here is the corrected version. Today I woke up late. I felt sleepy. I drank tea and sat down." Then, it explained the grammar. It said, wake becomes woke in the past tense. Feel is wrong. Say felt. Drink becomes drank in the past. It did not make me feel stupid. It made me feel safe. That day, I learned 3 grammar rules without trying to memorize them. I was just writing about my life. That is how I learned grammar without fear. After Claude gave me the corrected diary, I read it aloud. Why? Because before this, I never used my mouth to speak English. I only read in my head. This was the first time I said real English sentences with my voice. I read it again and again. Today I woke up late. I felt sleepy. I drank tea and sat down. I repeated it 5 times. I stood in front of the mirror and read it. I recorded my voice on my phone and listened to it. It was slow. It was not smooth. But it was real. For the first time, my mouth started to believe what my brain was thinking. I also learned 5 new sentences every morning. I asked Claude, "Can you give me 5 useful English sentences for daily life? Please make them very easy and show the meaning." It gave me things like, "I'm running late," meaning I do not have much time. "Let's take a break," meaning let's rest for a short time. "I'm not sure," meaning I do not know 100%. "Sounds good," meaning I agree. "That's not fair," meaning that is not right. Then I asked, "Can I try to use these in my own sentences? You correct me." Claude said yes. I tried. "I'm running late today. Let's take break." Claude corrected me. "I am running late today. Let's take a break." I was not just memorizing words. I was building my language muscle. I also practiced shadowing. Shadowing means repeating after someone. I asked Claude, "Can you give me a short paragraph that I can speak slowly?" It gave me, "It is a sunny day. I feel good. I want to go for a walk." I repeated it after reading it again and again. I spoke slowly, clearly, and loudly. After 10 minutes, I could say it without looking at the screen. "It is a sunny day. I feel good. I want to go for a walk." That was my morning routine, and I did it every single day. After 10 days, I was not fluent yet, but I was no longer afraid of simple sentences. And that was everything. Step 2. Practicing real conversations. Speaking was still my biggest fear. So, I told Claude, "I want to practice conversations, but I do not have anyone to talk to. Can you talk to me like we are in a real-life situation? It replied, Of course. Let's do a role play. I will be the waiter. You are the customer. Are you ready? And we began. This was our restaurant role play. Claude, waiter, hello. Welcome. Would you like to see the menu? Me. Yes, please. I want burger and tea. Claude, great try. Here is a better way to say it. I would like a burger and a cup of tea, please. Then it asked, Would you like anything else? Me. Yes, one cake. Claude. It corrected me gently. Yes, I would also like a slice of cake, please. We kept going. Every mistake became a chance to learn. Every corrected line became part of my memory. I practiced that one conversation for 3 days. I even printed it out. I stood in front of my mirror and performed both roles. I became the waiter, the customer, the learner, and the speaker. Later, I practiced other role plays too. I practiced checking in at an airport. I practiced booking a hotel room. I practiced talking to a stranger. I practiced a job interview. I practiced asking a tourist for help. I practiced talking to a doctor. But at the start, I only did restaurant English. Why? Because I wanted to become fluent in one situation first, not 10. And this method worked. After 3 days, I was no longer afraid to order food in English. Even if I never had to do it, I knew I could. That is how confidence begins. Step 3. Nightly reflection. After practicing with Claude every morning and doing one role play in the afternoon, I realized something important. I was learning new English every day, but I was also forgetting it. That scared me. I did not want to learn a sentence today and forget it tomorrow. I wanted to keep it in my mind forever. So, I started a new routine. I called it my night reflection routine with Claude. Every night before sleep, I sat down for 20 minutes and did 4 specific things. 1. Review the day. I told Claude what I learned. I typed, Today, I learned how to say, I would like a burger, please. I also learned the difference between wake and woke. I practiced reading a short paragraph about the weather. Can you please help me review what I learned today and check if I understood? Claude replied, Great job today. Let's review. You used I would like correctly. It is a polite way to ask for something. Wake is present tense. Woke is past tense. For example, I woke up at 7 a.m. Can you try making a sentence about today's weather? I replied, Today the weather is warm and windy. I am feeling good. Claude said, Perfect sentence. This simple review made me remember. It locked the learning into my brain. 2. My English notebook. Every night, I opened a physical notebook. I made a page titled Today's English, Day 9. I divided it into 3 parts. A. Vocabulary I used. Woke, weather, burger, polite, please. B. Sentences I learned. I would like a burger and a tea, please. I woke up at 7 a.m. Today the weather is warm and windy. C. Things I still do not understand. When to use have had versus had. How to start small talk. That notebook became my memory bank. It was not from a textbook. It was from my own life. I told myself, if I write it down, I will own it. 3. Ask for feedback. Before closing my day, I typed, Claude, I studied English for 25 minutes today. I practiced ordering food. I corrected 3 sentences. I wrote in my diary. Can you give me some feedback and motivation? Claude replied with kind, warm words. You are doing really well, Tom. Practicing daily, writing your diary, and correcting sentences is exactly how real progress happens. Keep going. Your consistency is your power. That reply made me feel seen. It gave me energy for the next day. This was not just about learning English. This was about believing in myself again. 4. Read old pages. Before sleeping, I went back 2 or 3 pages in my notebook. I read those old sentences aloud. I am feeling tired today. Can I have a glass of water, please? I did not understand that. Can you repeat it? Reading those again helped me train my pronunciation. It refreshed my memory. It made me speak with more confidence. It built stronger habits. I realized the more I reflect, the more I grow. That is how my nights became a powerful part of my learning. Step 4. Thinking in English. Now, let me tell you about the step that changed everything about how I think. At this point, I could write, read, and practice, but I was still thinking in my native language. In my head, I formed ideas in my mother tongue first. Then, I tried to translate them into English. By the time I finished translating, the moment to speak was gone. I told Claude, I want to think in English, not translate, but I do not know how. Claude replied, start small. Start with objects around you. Describe your surroundings. Say what you see. Say what you do. Use only English, even if it is simple. I started speaking to myself in English about my room. I looked around and typed, help me describe my room in simple English. Claude gave me, there is a brown table in the corner. A blue notebook is on it. The fan is running. The window is open. I stood up. I looked around, and I repeated those lines aloud. There is a brown table in the corner. A blue notebook is on it. The fan is running. The window is open. Then I made my own versions. There is a cup on my chair. My phone is charging. The calendar says it is Friday. This was not grammar class. This was real English in real time. My brain was making new English connections. Then, I described my daily actions in real time. I told Claude, give me 10 simple ways to describe my actions in English as I do them. It gave me, I am brushing my teeth. I am pouring water into a glass. I am tying my shoelaces. I am locking the door. I am walking to the market. That day, I tried to speak every action aloud. As I wore my shirt, I said, I am wearing my shirt. As I walked, I said, I am walking to the kitchen. As I ate, I said, I am eating slowly. The food is hot. This was my turning point. I was no longer trying to learn English. I was living inside English. Even while doing normal things, I asked Claude to translate my thoughts. I typed in my language. I want to say I am feeling lazy, but I must finish this work. How can I say that naturally? Claude replied, you can say, I feel lazy today, but I still need to get this done. I read it. I repeated it. Then I tried to make 5 more sentences about my feelings. I am nervous, but I will try. I feel a little sad, but I am okay. I am excited for tomorrow. I do not feel confident, but I will not quit. This is difficult, but I am learning. Now, I was learning how to express my real self. Not just the apple is red or she is tall. This was emotional English. This was my own English. I practiced this thought-to-sentence flow daily. Each night, I sat silently for 3 minutes and observed my thoughts. Then I tried to express them in English slowly. I said, I feel peaceful right now. I think I am doing better than last week. I hope I can speak better next month. I miss my old school. I am proud that I did not skip today's practice. Every time I got stuck, I asked Claude for help. It became my translator, my teacher, and my trainer all in one. Before this step, I had to wait for someone to speak to me. I would think, translate, pause, and then maybe speak. After this step, my brain started to think in English directly. Not fluently, not perfectly, but enough to reply. For the first time in my life, I began to feel like someone who could actually speak English. Step 5. Training my voice. At this point, I could describe my day. I could think in simple English. I could understand what I was reading. But there was still a big problem. Whenever I tried to speak out loud, my mouth felt blocked. My tongue felt slow. The words were in my brain, but I could not say them clearly. This made me feel stuck again. Understanding English in your head is not the same as speaking English with your mouth. I did not have a speaking partner, no friend to practice with, no class to attend. It was just me, my phone, and Claude. So, I asked, Claude, how can I train my mouth to speak clearly, even if I am alone? It replied, use voice-based training. Speak every sentence aloud. Use the mirror. Record yourself. Let your mouth learn what your brain already knows. That advice became my new system. Let me tell you every detail so you can do it too. 1. Using the mirror. Every morning, I stood in front of my mirror. I did not look at myself to look good. I looked to train my confidence. I looked into my own eyes and said, "Good morning. My name is Tom. I am learning English. I am not fluent, but I am not giving up." Then I said, "Today I will practice speaking, even if I make mistakes." Then I opened Claude and asked, "Give me 5 simple daily English questions that I can answer in front of the mirror." It gave me, "What did you eat today? How are you feeling right now? What are your plans for today? What did you learn yesterday? What do you want to improve?" I answered every question aloud, slowly, while looking in the mirror. It felt strange, but it worked. The mirror became my first listener. Slowly, my voice became my friend, not my enemy. 2. Recording my voice. I asked Claude, "Give me a short paragraph I can read aloud and record." It gave me, "It is a nice day. The sun is shining. I am going for a walk. I want to enjoy some fresh air." I read it aloud into my phone's voice recorder. Then I pressed play. At first, I hated my voice. It was slow. My pronunciation was weak. I sounded unsure. But I did not delete the recording. I listened to it. Then I asked Claude, "Can you help me improve my pronunciation? What words did I say wrong?" I wrote out what I said. It corrected me gently. Then I recorded the same paragraph again and again and again until my voice stopped shaking. After 2 weeks, I compared the first recording with the 14th recording, and I smiled because I sounded better, clearer, and stronger. That was real proof. 3. Shadowing conversations. I told Claude, "Give me a conversation between 2 people talking about going to a movie. I want it to be short and natural." It gave me, A. Hey, want to watch a movie tonight? B. Sure, what do you want to see? A. I heard the new action movie is really good. B. Let's go for it. I will book the tickets. I recorded myself saying both parts. Then I listened. I checked the rhythm and speed. Then I asked Claude, "Can you rewrite this conversation slightly more casually?" It gave me a new version. A. Feel like catching a movie later? B. Yeah, sounds fun. Got anything in mind? A. There's a new action film out. Looks awesome. B. Let's do it. I'll grab the tickets. I repeated that version too. Each time I did this, My voice got stronger. My fear got smaller. My sentences got smoother. I did not sound perfect, but I sounded like me. And that was enough. 4. Mouth exercises. I told Claude. Help me practice difficult sounds like th, r, or v. It gave me special tongue twisters. For example, 33,000 feathers flying through the forest, or rabbits run rapidly around red rocks. I practiced these slowly for 5 minutes every day. At first, my mouth hurt, but then my muscles learned. Now, when I say through or river or voice, I do not pause. I practice the mouth, not just the mind. When you train your voice daily, even without a partner, you give your brain permission to speak. You remove fear. You build rhythm. You trust your sound. That is how I started sounding like someone who was on the way to fluency. Step 6. Building a system. Now, I want to tell you something most people do not know. English fluency is not only about speaking. It is about building a system. It is about building a structure that trains you every day. I did not learn English just because of motivation. Motivation goes away. What made the difference was a system, a repeatable system. I asked Claude, I want to build a simple but powerful English routine. Can you help me design a daily system that covers everything? Speaking, writing, vocabulary, correction, and confidence. It said yes, and we built it together. Morning speaking, 10 minutes write 3 sentences about my day. Claude corrects them. Read the corrected version aloud 5 times. Vocabulary, 10 minutes ask Claude for 5 useful daily phrases. Learn the meaning and an example. Use each one in my own sentence and ask for correction. Role-play practice, 15 minutes, do 1 real-life conversation role-play. Ask for feedback. Repeat it aloud in front of the mirror. Thinking practice, 10 minutes describe what I see, do, and feel. Ask Claude to improve my sentences. Speak my thoughts out loud without translating. Night reflection, 10 minutes write in my English notebook what I learned and what I struggled with. Ask Claude for review and encouragement. Read 3 sentences aloud before sleep. That was 55 minutes total. I did not do it all at once. I did it in parts, morning, afternoon, and night. But every part was connected. That made me feel like I was living in English, not just studying it. With Claude's help, I built folders in my brain. Food and restaurant, health and doctor, travel and airport, feelings and emotions, work and job interview, friends and small talk, home and daily routine. Each folder had 10 to 15 sentences. Claude helped me build and practice each one. Soon, when someone said something to me, my brain opened the right folder. I did not need to think too hard. I also scheduled practice with Claude like an appointment. Every day, I picked one time. 5:30 p.m. English chat with GPT. I told my family, do not disturb me. This is my English time. It became serious. It became real. That is when I stopped feeling like a beginner and started feeling like a student of fluency. People who do not have systems learn slowly. People who build systems grow permanently. Step 7. Preparing for real life. At this point, I could talk to myself. I could do mirror practice. I could read and understand. But I had one big fear left. What if I go outside and someone talks to me in English and I freeze? That fear was real. In my head, everything was clear. But in public, everything changes. I had no control over what they would say. I could not pause or rewind. So, I created a new plan. I told Claude, I want to prepare for every real-life situation before it happens. Can you help me train for them? It said yes. That is when I built the most powerful thing in my English journey, real-life role-play rehearsals. I opened my notebook and wrote down situations that might happen in my life this year. Talking to a tourist in my city. Asking for help in a train station. Ordering food in a restaurant. Going for a job interview. Speaking to my doctor. Introducing myself at a party. Answering questions in class. These were not fantasies. These were real. If I did not train for them, I would panic. So, I told Claude, let's practice all of these one by one. I practiced each situation in role-play format. For each one, I said, Claude, act like the other person. I will respond like it is real. Let me show you an example. Talking to a tourist. I said, you are a lost tourist. I work in a coffee shop. Ask me for directions. Claude replied, excuse me, do you know how to get to the city museum? I paused. I thought in English. I said out loud, yes, go straight for 2 blocks, then turn left. The museum will be on your right. Claude replied, thank you. Is it open today? I responded, yes, it is open until 5 p.m. Then I said, Claude, correct my responses and help me sound more natural. It replied, great job. Try this version. Sure, just walk 2 blocks straight, then take a left. You will see the museum on your right side. It is open today until 5 p.m. I copied that. I practiced it aloud. I memorized the rhythm. I felt prepared. I did this for every situation on my list. Day by day, I became less afraid of real life. I also created emergency English phrases. Claude helped me create what I call my emergency toolkit. These are simple phrases I can use when I panic. Can you please repeat that slowly? Sorry, I didn't understand. Can you say it again? I am still learning English. Give me a second. Can I write it down and show you? Let me check how to say that. These sentences saved me in real conversations. Even when I was nervous, I had tools. I was not empty-handed anymore. I even rehearsed with background noise. I told Claude, let's practice conversations with a loud background, like in a train station. So, I played soft train sounds on YouTube. Then I practiced ordering a ticket. Me, 1 ticket to London, please. What time is the next train? Claude, the next train is at 11:15, platform 4. Me, thank you. Can I pay by card? This might sound silly, but it trained me to handle noise and confusion. That is how I prepared myself for real situations. After this step, I was not fluent, but I was ready. I did not fear real life anymore, because I had trained for it like an actor prepares for a big role. And when the real test came, I passed. Step 8. Making peace with mistakes. Even after all this practice, I still made mistakes. I said wrong words. I forgot simple things. I felt embarrassed. One day, someone laughed at me. Not because they were cruel, but because I said something funny without knowing. I went home and thought, maybe I am not meant for this. Maybe English is not for me. That day, I almost quit. But that night, I opened Claude and wrote, I made a mistake today. Someone laughed. I feel like giving up. Claude replied, every fluent person was once where you are. Mistakes are not failures. They are your teachers. That message stayed in my heart. From that day, I made a deal with myself. I will not run away from mistakes. I will collect them, study them, and grow from them. Let me tell you how I turned mistakes into fuel. I created a mistake journal. I opened a fresh notebook. On top, I wrote, "My mistakes are my masters." Every day, I wrote the mistake I made. Mistake. I said, "I am boring" instead of "I am bored." What happened? The other person smiled awkwardly. Correction. I am bored means I feel bored. I am boring means I make others feel bored. Note: be careful with adjectives versus feelings. I read my mistake journal once every week. Each time, I remembered the lesson. I never made the same mistake again. I also asked Claude to explain my mistakes like a teacher. Every time I wrote a new mistake, I told Claude, "Can you explain this mistake like I am 5 years old?" It did. Suddenly, grammar was not scary. It became gentle. It told me, "Tom, saying, 'I have many works' is wrong. Work is uncountable. Say, 'I have a lot of work.'" It told me, "Saying he do his job is wrong. He needs does. So say he does his job." These were tiny things, but they made a huge difference. I also stopped trying to be perfect. This was hard. But one day, I realized even native speakers make mistakes. They forget words. They correct themselves. They laugh and move on. Why should I expect myself to be perfect? So now, when I speak English and make a mistake, I smile and say, "Sorry, still learning." And people smile back because I am not trying to act smart. I am trying to be real. Before this step, my fear of mistakes kept me silent. After this step, my courage made me louder. Step 9. Building a new identity. If you have followed my story, you know how much I struggled. I was not born in an English-speaking country. No one in my family spoke English. I was just a normal boy from a small town with a big dream. And that dream was not just to learn English. It was to speak English confidently, clearly, and powerfully. I wanted to express everything in my heart without fear. In this final step, I did something that no course or app had ever taught me. I stopped thinking of English as just a subject to study. I started treating English as a new version of myself. I created a new English identity, a person inside me. One day, Claude asked me a strange question. If you had to describe your English-speaking self as a person, who would he be? I thought deeply. Then I said, "He is bold. He is clear. He does not hide. He does not feel embarrassed. He jokes. He tells stories. He is free." That is when I realized I was not just learning grammar. I was building a version of myself that I had never met before. So, I gave him a name, English Tom, and I made a decision. Every day for 1 hour, I would become English Tom. Not just speak like him, but think like him, walk like him, act like him. Even if I made mistakes. Even if my accent was not perfect. Because the more I stepped into that version of me, the more it became me. I celebrated my English every single day. Do you only clap when a child becomes a doctor? Or do you clap the first time they take a step? If you wait for fluency to feel proud, you will suffer forever. So, I celebrated every small victory. Today I spoke one sentence in English to a stranger. Yes. Today I described my dinner in 3 English sentences. I am growing. Today I corrected a mistake before Claude did. I am improving. This mindset made my English joyful. I was not just building a language. I was building myself. The day I knew I was fluent. It was not when I passed a test. It was not when someone said, "Wow, your English is good." It was this. One night, I was walking home under the stars. I whispered a thought to myself. Naturally, beautifully. confidently. In English, I said, "This is the life I used to dream about." That is when I smiled. I did not translate it. I did not prepare it. I did not think about grammar. It just came out. Like breath. Like music. Like me. And I knew I had finally become English Tom. Conclusion. If you remember only one thing from this, remember this. Claude is not just an AI. It is not just a tool. It is your mirror, your mentor, and your practice partner all in one. You do not need perfect grammar. You do not need expensive courses. You do not need to move to another country. You need daily contact with English. Real practice, real reflection, real improvement, and you already have it in your pocket. So start today, not tomorrow, not one day. Today, write one sentence, speak one reply, correct one mistake, celebrate one step. And in 1 year, people will ask you, "How did your English become so good?" And you will smile. You will say, "I practiced every single day with Claude." Now, it is your turn. Make this your beginning. Speak to Claude today and watch your fluency grow faster than ever before. Thank you for watching and listening.